Well, hello there, my thrifting family. This is Brenda back with you once again with Brenda's Thrifted Decor and DIY. I trust that you all are doing well on this beautiful day that the Lord has given us. This is what I want to do today. I want to piggyback off of my last video where I talk to you about, my journey with ownership of my home from beginning until currently today. So, in that particular video, I talked to you all about some things that I did once I retired in order to make living for me just a little bit easier. Look, I want to say this. My channel is all about thrifting. Now, thrifting is not just going to a thrift store, it's not just going to an estate sale or a yard sale. Thrifting is whatever we can do in our lives to just, cut down the cost, whether it be, finding ways to cut costs in our homes, whatever. So today, what I want to do is continue in my thrifting mode and just kind of tell you about some things that I did to cut costs for myself, particularly, like I said, after I retired, because as I said in my last video, my income was sliced down tremendously. And so I had to really look at my bills. I had to look at everything that I was paying for and decide what it is that I need to keep, what it is that I need to see that I can get a little bit cheaper, what kind of discounts I can get here, what I can get there. So what I'm going to do today, I want to share with you 10 things that I did upon retiring, and some of it was done even before I retired, but all of it was in an effort to see how I can cut the cost, how I can pay just, I don't care if it's $1 less, how I can just, get something taken off to make it a little bit easier for me. So, and what I want to accomplish with this particular video today is, I know that some of you may not need this, you may not need to hear it, but then there's a lot of people out there that probably do. And that is what I want to do, is I hope that you will get something out of it. We're going to go ahead and not prolong the time, and we are going to get started with Brenda's 10 budget cutting budget cutting efforts in her retirement. Number one, I went to my auto insurance agent. And how many of you know that a lot of times with insurance, especially when you have full coverage, there's a possibility always that you're paying for something that you don't necessarily need. And so you wind up paying these high premiums, and and I'm the type of person like this. I don't want to pay for nothing that I don't need. I told my agent, I said, look, I need you to look at my insurance policy. Please go through it and see if there's anything in there that I'm paying, because I had gotten up to paying $170 something a month, for my insurance for full coverage, and I'm with a very good insurance company. So I went to his office. I sat there in front of him, and he got on the computer. He started doodling, looking at this and looking at that. No, you can't get rid of this. Nah, no, you better hold on to this. So he finally came up with one area, and it had to do with uninsured motorist insurance. So he found out that I was paying what they call an add-on to my uninsured. He looked at it. He said, well, you know what? You don't really need to be, we can take the add-on off, because that is only there in case this and this and that. And he said, even with my insurance, I took it off of mine. That saved me about almost $10, y'all. And so another thing that he told me was that in Georgia, and I'm sure other states may offer it too, and you may want to look into this. In Georgia, if you take an online safety driving course, it's about a 6-hour course. It's all online. And if you take that course and you pass it, and then take your certificate back to your insurance company, they will give you a discount on your insurance. So I went from paying, and it's not a big discount, but it's something. So I went ahead, I bit the bullet, I took the course, and I got through it, got my certificate in the mail, faxed it to, sent it to my insurance company, and my insurance went down from 179 or whatever it was, down to like 162. So hey, like I said, it may not be a big break, but that was a break that I needed. And another thing too, that I had asked him, because at my insurance company, I have everything. I have a package with them. I have my auto insurance, I have my homeowners insurance, and I have my life insurance with them. So my homeowners insurance was, I have a fixed rate on my mortgage. Nothing changes with my interest rate. And however, if there's not enough money in my escrow account to cover my property taxes and my homeowners insurance is paid out of my mortgage, out of my escrow, then that can cause my monthly payment to fluctuate. Because if I'm short in my escrow account, then they're gonna have to. They're required by law to pay it. Once my insurance company send my annual bill to them, or the property taxes come to them, they have to pay it. But if I don't have enough money in my escrow account to cover it, it would cause what they call an underpayment, an overage, whatever. And so whatever that overage is that that exists, it goes and attaches to my monthly payment, because they're going to split it up, because I have to pay them that money back. So that's what causes, I went from paying just a little over, at one point I was only paying in this house like $1,079. Then it went up to $1,200. Then it went up to $1,300. But all of it was due to my escrow account not having enough money in it to cover the property taxes and that type of thing. So he went through. He said, Ms. Thomas, I don't know. He said, he said, I can rerun it. He said, because, a lot of times things change with the insurance industry. Things may have, we never know. So my homeowner's insurance, cost us annual, was close to $4,000. And so actually, so that was causing me, hardship in my, for my mortgage payment. So he ran his numbers and he did what he had to do. And I'm like, oh, Lord, help me. Oh, Jesus, Lord God, let it, whatever. He came back and said, Miss Thomas, he said, look, I was able to get your new policy amount now is only $2,400. I was like, Jesus. Woo, Jesus. And that, like I said, that went from almost it was $3,500, $3,600, something like that, down to $2,400. Because I insisted that he rerun it. And if I never went in and said, hey, look, rerun it, see what you could take out, see what I don't need. But he didn't have to take out anything. I got the same exact coverage. It's just that he reran it based on the current, insurance, situation. That saved me money there. And another thing, I'm going to talk to you about my property taxes. I don't know how yours work in your state, but here in Georgia, we pay our regular taxes, and we also pay school taxes. So once you become 65 years old, you no longer have to pay the school taxes. And the school taxes is what was causing the property taxes to be astronomically high. So my property taxes was running me almost $4,000, or more per year, based on them building all these new schools and doing everything that they were doing. So when I turned 65, I raced down to the property tax office. I had to, took my little information down there. And let me tell y'all something. When they took off I became, as of, my birthday is in January the 1st. So you have to be 65 before. So I had to wait until after my birthday in order to do it. So as of January the 2nd or after, they took, I became exempt from the school taxes. How many of y'all know that that cut my taxes down in half? I went from paying almost $4,000 in property taxes down to paying like 2,500 or 2,400 or something. It's like a little bit over $2,000 per year. So what I'm saying is that if you have insurance, like your auto insurance, your homeowners, anything, if you're 65, I don't know, how it works. And actually, let me take that back. It's not really by the state of Georgia. It's actually by the county that you live in, because my sister lives here. In her county, it's a little different. They don't do, the take off the school tax thing there. So it could vary depending on what county you live in here in Georgia. So point number 2 is escrow analysis on your mortgage. Mine is actually ran every year. Determines, whether or not the state of your escrow account would depend on your mortgage payment. So my annual escrow analysis is every December. So now, since my property taxes, because the reason it was up so high is because of high property taxes and high homeowners. So now that all of that has, literally cut in half, then I should see my mortgage payment actually come down. So I'm gonna wait until, I talked to them about a week ago, and they said that I am due for an analysis, and it would determine what my payment would be moving forward. So keeping my hands in prayer that it will actually bring my mortgage payment down. So we shall see. All right, point number 3. So when I first moved into my house, my gas bill during the wintertime would just be astronomical. I would be like, whoa, I was getting $200 and $300 bills per month for my gas. And so one day I called the gas company and I said, is there anything that you all can look at and tell me why my gas is so high? I need this to come down. I can't afford it. She said, let me look at your therm rate. So I was being charged close to $3 per therm at the time. I think it was pretty high. And she said, that's why your gas is so high, because your therm rate is high. And so therefore your gas is going to be high. So she said, what we offer is an annual set therm rate. And it's all based on the current whatever's going on with the gas, prices or whatever. And so she ran mine and looked at it. She said the current therm rate right now at that point. Now I was, like I said, almost $4 per therm. So she said that the current therm rate is 0.45 cents, something like that. And so she said, I can set you up, with this. It'll be a set rate for 12 months. Then, you to renew annually. Cut my gas bill in half. That's something that you can look into where you live. If you don't know anything about it, you may already know about it. You may already have it. But check with your gas company and ask them if they have a set therm rate that you can maybe sign up for. That'll help you in the cost. Point number 4. We're on point number 4. Now, we all know, I talked to y'all in my last video and said that I live in a 3,200 square foot house. And I had a lot of people say, well, it's wasted space. And, well, not a lot, just a few. I mean, I won't even say a lot. I think 1 or 2 people were saying that they just feel like it was just, well, let me say this. Whenever you live in a home, wherever you choose to live, and whatever size house you choose to live in, that's your choice. Nothing is wasted, and one man's opinion does not, authenticate another person's reality. So what may be a waste for you is not a waste for me. But here are things that I do here in my home to keep, such a large house from, first of all, I've already said, I have the therm rate for my gas. Now, when it comes to things like my air conditioner and things of that nature, it gets pretty hot here in the summer, so some things you just can't, But what I do, though, for the rooms that are not being used on a regular basis, like my spare guest, I only have, let me clarify this. There's only one room in my house that is not used on a regular basis, and that is my spare guest bedroom that I was using as a rental for my grandson. That's the only room in my house that doesn't get used on a regular basis. And what I do with that particular room, I close the vent. So that way, wasted air is not blowing, trying to heat up a room that's not being used. My laundry room, I don't need hot air running in my laundry room because I'm not in there that often. So I close that. My walk-in closet in my bedroom, that has a vent. I keep that closed because I don't need, I may go in there, yes, it may be kind of colder, whatever, but I don't need heat running all the time. My former dining room where I'm sitting right now, unless I'm entertaining, which I do entertain, I do use this dining room. This is not an unused, like my former living room. Those are not unused spaces. I sit in there a lot myself. I go from one area of my house to the other. When I have company, that's where we'll sit. When I have my prayer breakfast, which I do, that's where we gather up for a prayer breakfast. So I'm saying all this to say, but when the rooms are not being used, I try to keep the vents closed, and that will help energy-wise. But most of the other rooms in my house, because I use my house, my 32 square foot home is a used house, and I put every room in it to use. So just look at that, whether or not you have spare rooms, and look at your laundry rooms. Look at anywhere that you don't use on a regular basis. Maybe consider just closing the vent. So then that way, air and heat won't be just blowing in areas that you really don't need it to be doing so. Make sure that you have your windows are sealed very good. If you have a door that's like a crack, or I remember one time I had to take tape over my door until I got a new door to put up to keep the cold air from blowing through, cracks. So if I have double pane windows. Some people have them and some people don't. That helps me a lot. Double pane windows are a lifesaver. So those are some energy saving tips. Water. I try my best to conserve, water. Now, water in Georgia is cheap, but still at the same time, you don't want to just waste. My granddaughter is 8 years old. She loves a hot shower. She'll get in there. She'll try to stay for 10 or 15 minutes. I finally sat the little sister gal down. I said, look, you got 3 to 5 minutes, and you need to be out that shower. Because right now, all that running that water, and you in there singing and, just singing and just in there just having a good old time. I'm like, you need to be out of that shower in 3 to 5 minutes. And now she gets in there, she takes her shower, and she gets out because she don't want to hear my mouth. She really don't want to hear my mouth. So those are just some, and another thing too, let me say this. Now, we all know that we don't need to be running. I know that some people are cold natured. They don't like to be cold. Some people are hot natured or whatever. But try not to run your heat so high on a consistent basis. If you have a programmable thermostat, try to program it to where it was set to come on, etc. If you go to work every day, turn that thing down. Don't let it be blowing air while you're at work. Or just like at night, I don't like to be hot at night, so my heat goes down every night because I cannot stand that heat. There are times where in the winter times I push my window up. So just make sure that even in the summertime, I know some people don't like to be hot, so you blow in your house freezing, and that runs up your bill. So just try to be cognizant of not, because like a lot of times with me here in my house, I wear socks and I will put on stuff to keep me warm, and if I get cold, yes, I'll run it because I'm not going to sit here and suffer. But just try to, don't be running at 78, 90, 80, whatever. Try to keep that thing around 75, maybe 74 and lower, So, that's some energy saving methods. And if you can think of, and I want to say this, if you have any ideas, just throw them down in the comment section about things that you do to save money. And there's some of us that are watching the video, myself. You can give us some ideas. Okay, so we're at number 5. Let's talk about these cell phones and cell phone service. Now, I can't tell nobody what to do because we all gonna do what we want to do. Now, but if you want to save money, you got to start thinking differently. When I've never been one to go out and buy expensive phones. I don't care how the latest this or the latest that. I just want me a nice smartphone. I'm an Android user. I buy my phones outright. I'm not going to pay over $200 for a phone. I'm not going to be paying monthly rates, monthly breakdown payments on a phone, because to me, I'm just going to say it, y'all, it ain't that serious. It really not. So I have an Android phone, and I paid about maybe $160 something for it. It's a nice phone, very nice. I needed a phone because of my filming. I needed something that had a good camera on it. This one had a very good camera, and I'm very pleased with it. It's paid for, great phone, and hey, it ain't that serious. Let's talk about cell phones. Oh, and let me say this. If you're paying for something just because it's the in thing to do, and you're struggling to try to pay for it, and every time you turn around, your phone is off, and you don't have service, or this and that, or it's, because there are people that will pay a cell phone bill before they go to the grocery store and buy food, and that don't make sense. So if you're paying, a whole bunch of money on family plans and just your individual phone, I know somebody that just went and bought almost a $1,300 phone, and paying for it on monthly payments. And to me, that just doesn't register with me. So think about that. Think about that. And I am with a company that is non-contract. I don't believe in going into contracts with phone companies to pay for phone service. The phone service that I have, they have different plans. The highest plan is like $65. Then they have one for $45 and one for lower. And obviously, the better plan you have, the better service, like it's unlimited data and this and that. So, but for my needs, I just got the $40 plan. I pay a $40 flat rate per month, for my phone. And that's it. My phone is paid for. I don't have crazy monthly payments trying to, keep up with this and keep up with that. The Joneses, the Andersons, the Smiths. I'm not into all of that. And then let's talk about, now we talked about the cell phone. So let's talk about cell phone service. So, yes, there are some companies out there, these big companies where you're paying, $300 and $400 a month for cell phone service and this and that. Really consider, because I talked to one of my children about this. They were paying a lot of money in their for their phone service, and I said, "Do you know that there are some companies out there to where you can get the same package for, phones for your children, phones for your whole family, and you don't have to be paying $500 and $600 a month, service or whatever." And then on top of the fact that you still got to buy the phones. So that's something that that I made personally, to say that, to me, if I can talk on it, if I can text if I need to, use my camera, that's all I need. What else do you need above that? I don't, what else do you need? So consider and look at your phone plan. Consider, I'm just saying, if you need to, you may not need to, hey, but if you need to, maybe look at some areas that you can cut, then look at what you're paying out for phone and look at what you're paying out for phone service. Okay, point number 6. This is going to be directed mostly towards seniors. Those of us that are 50 and above, or maybe 55 and above. I don't, like I said, I live in Georgia. I don't know how your state operate. I don't know how your county where you live operate. They may be different. But here's the thing, though, with seniors. What we have to first do is not let shame be in our game. We done worked hard. I worked for almost 40 years for attorneys and paid my tax, paid my dues. I worked hard. So now that I'm retired, and I don't want to have food anxieties or food, I don't want to be stressed out about whether or not I can eat and all, I live on Social Security. I live on whatever extra money I can make. And sometimes, with Social Security, that takes care of your bills. It don't take care of all of your bills, but you still got to eat. So here in Georgia, They have a senior a thing for seniors with the food stamp program, and I forget, it's called SNAP, SNAP for seniors. So when I retired, I applied for it, and so since I retired in 2021, I have been receiving SNAP benefits. We used to call it back in the day food stamps, but everything now is on a EBT, electronic card. But look, I don't have to worry about food. Every month, my little money go on my card. I go out and buy my food, and this sister eats good because I don't deserve to starve. I don't deserve to be worried about food because I work too hard, to get to the point to where I shouldn't have to worry about that. So I thank God that here in Georgia, now you can look into the state that you live in and see what they have to offer for seniors where food is concerned, food stamps and that type of thing. There is no shame in my game, honey. I will go after a discount. I will go after something free. I will go after it because look, I paid my dues for all those years. I want to live in my elderly life. I want to be comfortable. Another area where if you don't qualify for food stamps and you're struggling with, eating and things of that nature, there's a lot of food pantries. Different churches and organizations, have food pantries where they will, and these places they give some good food. Our church, the church that I attend, I work in the food pantry, and the companies that we use to get the food from, that be some good stuff, meat and canned goods and all of this, cereal and just really good food. So check out, some food pantries in your area. Ask your church if they know. If they don't have a food pantry at your church, maybe they know of some food pantries. And sign up with them. Go in on a regular basis. We have people that come to our food pantry on a regular, once a month. They're right there. We ask no questions. We don't want to know your business, but all we want to do is make sure that you are eating healthily and eating. So check into the food pantry thing, and like I said, also look into seeing whether or not you have a program there in your state that you may qualify for food stamps. You never know. You never know unless you check. All right. My pastor says all the time, never suffer in silence. Seek help if you need help. That's number 7. One thing that I talked about in my last video was how I've never been a big cable person, and a lot of primetime TV or live TV or whatever you want to call it. I don't do a lot of just regular primetime shows. There's really nothing for me to even watch, so there's really no point for me to even have cable like that. I love British movies. I love everything British. I love period movies and TV shows. I'm a Downton Abbey girl, and Upstairs, Downstairs, and Sense and Sensibility, and Pride and Prejudice. Those are my shows, And like I said, it's been years since I've had cable. Years. And one thing I did not like about, when I had cable is that you never get the same bill every month. Every time I get a bill, the price is fluctuating up and down. So I decided a long time ago, you know what? I don't need all of this. I don't even watch TV like that to be paying that kind of money. So I do all stream. I went out and got Roku devices for my TVs. I have a couple smart TVs, and I'm blessed that my daughter allows me to. She has Prime. She has Prime, Amazon Prime. She has Hulu, and so she allows me to use, to share her accounts with her. And also, a lot of the streaming channels are free, like Tubu is free. You have Pluto TV is free. There are so many. You have, if you have a Roku player, you have the Roku channel that has wonderful shows. I'm talking about they have all of the old sitcoms. They have, just almost anything that you kind of want to watch. A lot of the movies that once they do their thing out in the movie theater and on the cable and all that, then they get dropped down into places like Amazon Prime. So I'm saying all this to say that look at cutting down on I looked at cutting my cable out, and you can look into the same thing. To streaming, I know with which one was it? Netflix. Netflix, they cut down to where people can't share Netflix like they used to. My son had Netflix, and he would allow me to I would share his Netflix, but then Netflix got smart and they started wanting to charge folk for allowing people to share their account. And it's all good because, like I said, with the free stuff that they offer on these streaming channels, that's enough for me. And I don't pay out money per month. Thank God that my daughter, that's how she helps me with that type of thing. So yeah, look into that. Number 8, we have just 3 more to go. Let's talk about thrifting, which is what my channel is all about. And along with thrifting, I'm going to talk about how to acquire free stuff. And I'm going to talk about how we can sell things that we have in our homes to make extra money, and how we can barter. So I've been a thrifter all of my adult life. Like I said, I'm almost 66 and I've always thrifted. And so what I'm doing now is just natural because I love it. My whole entire house is thrifted. The dress that I'm sitting here now, let me see if you can see it, with this beautiful dress that I'm wearing. I thrifted this when I was in Florida at a thrift store. So that's another area where I save money. Because let me tell you all how serious thrifting is for me. I am a huge Facebook marketplace, because you'll hear me say that a lot on my videos, my thrifting videos. I'll say things like, I found this on Facebook Marketplace, because I'm on Facebook Marketplace all the time. When I need something, like if I need a new comforter set, I'm on Facebook Marketplace. And most of the time, I'm finding stuff that's brand new. Now, there may be times where it could be used. I bring it home, I wash it, clean it up. Furniture, tables, lamps, I don't care what it is. Everything that I basically bring, rugs. I am a big rug. Every rug you see in my house is off of Facebook Marketplace. I'm talking about beautiful big rugs that I may have paid only like maybe $25 or $30 for. And let me tell you something else about using these sites like Facebook Marketplace. People buy wonderful stuff. They spend money on stuff. And I'm the type of person, like, one man's trash is another woman's treasure. Because when you're done with it, after you done spent all that money for it, and you put it out there on Marketplace for $25, $30 after you done paid $500 and $600 for it, I'll snap it up. So from all of my everything, clothes I wear, I'm a big thrift store shopper for clothes, shoes. When I need a pair of shoes, I go to Goodwill. Or I go to another thrift store that sell pretty nice shoes. Clean them up, pay maybe $6 for a nice pair of shoes, and keep it moving. So we have to get to the point to where some people say, I don't like buying, used stuff. Well, that's fine. I don't judge people that don't like thrifting or don't like thrift stores. That's, hey, because to each his own. But if you love thrifting, then that is a great way to save money. And I find, and when a lot of videos that I have, I talk about free stuff that I found. On Facebook Marketplace, if you type in, like you're looking for a rug, and you say free rug or whatever, and it's going to bring up all the free stuff. You go through it. If you see something, sometimes you see something you want, sometimes you don't. And then there are times where people will put items on Marketplace and say, just come get it. My house is full of stuff that I've gotten for free. And I'm not talking about junk. I'm talking about good stuff. And I tell you another thing about me. I'll pick up something off the side of the highway in a heartbeat, side of the street. I have a beautiful, my coffee station right now. I did a video. You may go back several videos back where my coffee station that I bought home and cleaned up and painted it real wood, really nice, was found on a junk pile. Found on a junk pile. And I bought it home, painted it, cleaned it up, and now it is a beautiful piece of furniture in my home. And another thing, this is a big one right here. I know a lot of you, even in comments from my last video, I know that right now, y'all, look, we're struggling. Everybody is kind of going through right now. But I just want you to know that God knows, what you're going through. And, I just want to encourage you to trust Him. And not only just trust Him, but have faith in Him. Give your whole entire life to Him and just let Him take over. And a lot of these things that we're going through, God would give us peace. And that's the important thing, is that a lot of us, the reason that we go through so much of what we go through, because society have us thinking that we gotta have this stuff. If we don't have a lot of stuff, then, because we think that things brings us peace and happiness. If you're struggling financially and you got a bunch of stuff in your house, and I've done this so many times, I am an avid person that sells on Facebook Marketplace. I've sold so much. I have needed to pay a light bill and put something on Marketplace and raise the money to pay my light bill. If you got stuff in rooms that are just sitting there, lamps, rugs, whatever, go through your house and figure out what you have that you can get rid of, and that you can. And I'm not saying that we have to part with all of our stuff, but if there's stuff that you can part with, put it out there on Facebook Marketplace. Set a price to it. Don't overprice it, but set a reasonable price to it, and let folk come and put that cash in your hands, and you go and do what you need to do with it. And because a lot of us need to pare down and get rid of some of that stuff that we got. Man, look, I can't even begin to tell you how much money I've made just using Facebook Marketplace to do it. Great money-making way to do that. It may take some time to get it sold, or sometimes you may sell it the same day. Sometimes you got folks fighting over trying to get it. But put it out there and see where it goes. Okay? So we got thrifting. We have finding free stuff. We are selling stuff that we don't need. And we are bartering. And when I say bartering, I found I wanted these lamps. I saw them and they were sitting in my entranceway, on my table in my entranceway. And I wanted those lamps. But I knew I really didn't have the money to be going out spending, because I'm very conscious of just spending money in thrift stores, just to be spending. I got over that a long time ago. So what I did, I sold something, got the money off of that. I sold it on Facebook Marketplace, took that money and went and bought the lamps. So that way I gave up something in order to get something. Okay? So that's what bartering. I barter. I barter myself, and even you can barter with others. My son just told me how he bartered, an item that he had. The man wanted to get rid of his. He wanted to get rid of his. They did a switch, and they're both happy. Number 9, and we're almost done. So this next thing that I want to talk about is DIY projects. I'm talking to you ladies out there, I'm talking to men if you're listening to me. We own these homes. I've had several people to comment in the last video about how, they're having problems finding people to do work, or they can't afford to have the work done, or just something, that is not getting done because for whatever reason. So I decided a long time ago that what I can do for myself, I don't like painting, but I'll paint. If someone is going to charge me $500 and $600 to paint a room, look, I'll paint that room myself. I have painted so much here in my house myself, and I paint and I refurbish furniture, and I do a lot of things myself. The only thing that the big things like electrical and plumbing and that type of stuff, I don't know anything about that. But if it's something that I can do to save myself some money, and painting is the biggest one, I will do it myself. And thank God I have a son, 2 sons, but one son in particular. He is what I call a jack of all trades. This dude is the VP, big VP of the company that he works for, but he's a handyman at his heart. And he will run to his mama's rescue. His handiwork, his fingerprints are all over my house from when he has things from hanging ceiling fans. Now I've had pipes to burst in my house. When it's frozen. I've had 2 times flood to come into my house. And my son is who I will call, and he will run to my rescue. So thank God for having sons. My other son, he has done things for his mama too. So thank God for that. But if it's something I try not to bother them unless I just need something I cannot do for myself. But other than that, I try to be very independent, self-reliant. Thank God I'm healthy enough to where I can do stuff, and I'm sure there are some of you out there that if you could, you would, and I don't take away from that. Do what you got to do. But all I'm saying is that for those that can do it, try to do those DIY projects. And hey, look, YouTube, anything that you want to do. Look, I needed to light my water heater. I didn't know anything about what it's a gas water heater. Man, I did a YouTube to show me how to light. I had to get down on the floor with that match, and I lit my own water heater. So those are things that as women, we have to learn how to get more self-reliant, save some of that money, and just kind of what you can do it yourself. Number 10, the last one. We're going to talk about lawn care service, which can be when you own a home. I have a big yard in the front. I have even bigger yard in the back. My backyard, I'm going to have to do a film on that one. My backyard is like a forest. I have trees on top of trees. I've had several trees cut down. So lawn care service can get to be pretty expensive when you, have a home. Well, some of you may live in a townhouse or a condo that you own. Some, you may have a yard and you may not. But a lot of times if you own an individual home, a standalone home, you're going to have a yard to handle. Now, here's what I want to say to that. If you are in pretty good health and you're able to do it, and if your yard is not, unfortunately my yard is on an incline. It's on a hill. I can't even cut my front yard because it's just too hilly. So I have to have somebody cut it. But if you're able to cut your yard, buy yourself a lawnmower. It's good exercise. There's a woman down the street from where I live. She actually has a riding lawnmower. She gets out there and cut her own grass. I've seen women in my neighborhood. One of my good friends, live up the street, down the street. Her husband does everything, but she cuts that grass. I see her out there passing by sometimes, and she'll be on that riding lawnmower, or she'll be pushing the lawnmower. But I'm just saying that to say that, if you can buy a lawnmower and cut your own grass, that would say, for instance, if you bought a lawnmower for $300, right? You pay that, like if you have lawn care service, you can pay that in 3 months. You paying somebody else $300 when you can just buy a lawnmower for about that amount and just do it yourself, especially in the summer months. Get out there with that exercise and move and get your body to moving and just, I wish I could. I'm going to buy me one anyway. I used to cut my own grass all the time. I had my own lawnmower. But the hill was about to kill me. So I'm going to try to figure out some kind of way that I can kind of, do this thing on my own. But anyway, that is it, you all. Brenda's 10 money saving, discount, thrifting, DIY, insurance, property, whatever. Whatever you can do to save a dime. You may have other tips. Put them in the comment section and let me know what they are. Some of you gave me some great tips my last video, and I'm listening to you. I hear you. So I hope that you enjoyed this video today. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And like I said, leave your comments down in the comment section. Thank you so much for in my last video, I gained almost 500 new subscribers. And I am so grateful for every one of you. I'm so thankful, and I don't take your subscription lightly because you have become my family, and thank you so much. So anyway, you all, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing to my channel. I love you. God bless you. And may the peace of God forever smile upon you. Bye-bye.